are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire wrestling community. And I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And together we are
Rope Break.
And you know that it's Saturday, family, because it's time to talk about NXT UK, the best show in professional wrestling because it's only 1 hour. So,
I agree with that.
Easy to watch, easy to digest, to our faces. So, we're really excited about this. I think the quality of the show is in kind of it started out really, really nice, really, really great. Like we were something refreshing, new wrestlers, new storylines. Now it's kind of getting into that comfort zone. I want to say okay, it's some stuff is so, but the rest the main dishes are still good. What do you think, Mr. Leek?
Yeah, the Heritage Cup is still really good. Obviously, the main title feud, Ilya Dragunov, Walter, is one of the best things in WWE as a whole right now. But this show kind of fell flat, and it's no offense to any of the stars, but it was because this show is mainly focused on the women's division.
Yeah.
And, we want to say, Valkyrie's good, and, you have Kaylee Ray, the women's champion's really good. We are both big fans of Piper Niven. But then everybody else is still kind of low mid-card, and they're building them up. Nobody's, Tony Storm's gone, Rhea Ripley's gone. So the women's division's kind of weak, and when the whole show mainly focused on that, I think that's why it kind of felt a little bit
Yeah, it's we will need more exposure from them, give me more storylines, but really more profound storylines in between the girls, so we get to know who they are, we get to know how they fight and everything, what's their style. But little by little, maybe I think the first match, that's what they were trying to do. So before we go into this, all of that, Jean-Paul, thank you so very much, family, for all the subscription, love, and support. Don't forget, we're actually also doing the Roll Break Soccer. We were talking about the quarterfinals for the World Cup, Qatar 2022. Ecuador's first game going against Argentina from Leo Messi, right there, the best player in the whole entire world. He scored 1 penalty, and then the Argentina was able to beat Ecuador. The whole highlights and everything summary right there with our newest member of the family, Clever. So, right there. Don't forget to check that out. And Jean-Paul and myself, we have Smackdown, the first night of the draft. Right there, a lot of things coming out from that. Seth Rollins is on SmackDown Live now. Drew McIntyre was on Raw. He is on that being on Raw too. Asuka is on Raw still. But see, we have a little bit of news from that, right, Jean-Paul? We have the 5th round from that, and we got this was taking place a few minutes ago in Talking Smack, and Humberto Carrillo's on Monday Night Raw. Murphy, like Jean-Paul said, they move all this storyline from Raw to SmackDown. Drew Gulak is in Monday Night Raw now. Kalisto stays on SmackDown, and Jean-Paul jinxed this. Now I don't want to say he has spoiled this because Jean-Paul doesn't even predict. He spoils it because he knows. He has his sources in WWE. Taki and Otis have been split for good. So Heavy Machinery no longer exists. Jean-Paul, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, they took the whole Rollins Mysterios storyline on SmackDown. They didn't split it up to create new matchups, which the whole point of the draft is to create new and interesting matchups on each show, not just move from storyline from one show to the other. Drew Gulak was I think he was still on SmackDown, but he was on Monday Night Raw the past couple weeks chasing R-Truth, so now he can officially chase R-Truth on Monday Night Raw. and with Tucker, it's he's either going to be chasing R-Truth as well, or he's just going to be in Raw Underground. I don't see a push for him. And Humberto, he was barely holding on to life support on this Mysterio feud, being Dominic's partner. Now I don't know what he's going to do.
Now he's even more done, yeah. And, look at this picture, Jean-Paul, you and me have to go separate ways. You stay in Road Break Wrestling, I go to soccer, and done. No, it's not going to happen. But, if they do something with Tucker, I'm all for it. But hey, a singles push, because you said the guy's a good wrestler. He's pretty eloquent when it comes promo. Maybe they switch his character a little bit. And then they give us a new version of Tucker, a version that we've never seen before, in kind of Tony Storm's language. So we'll see, but I feel bad because Heavy Machinery, like you said, they never won for the tag titles, and it would have been.
Vince just hates tag teams.
Yeah,
he keeps 4 tag teams because you need 2 champions and you need people for the champions to feud with.
Yes.
So he keeps at least 4 teams, and every other team he finds a way to split them up as soon as he can.
Oh yeah, so So that's what it was, but we give you a little bit of extra news for all of you family. So let's start with NXT, the show. And we had a tag women's match in the Isaiah Brooks side, Dani Luna, and also going against Amel and Nina Samuels. And like Jean-Paul was saying, this was okay. The girls did a decent job, but like we don't know half of them. The only one that I did know was Saya Brookside because we actually saw her last week when against Ginny. So after that, I think that is a good way to keep pushing these women, like to show us what they can do. Because like you said, the women's division is pretty much unknown for I think the whole audience. If not Kaylee Day or Pepe Nevin. So walk me through this, Jean Paul.
Yeah, who was Zaya Brookside's partner? What did you say her name was?
Danny Luna.
Yeah, I actually liked her. This is the first time I saw her. She almost because she's like really short, but like strong and like kind of powerful. Almost reminds me like a little female Taz in there, and she was hitting suplexes, and she's really like tough and strong, and like that's her like gimmick. It's like I'm gonna just beat you up and suplex you, throw you around. So I like her. I think there's a future in her. And then the heel team, they were pretty much, the one came out, and then the other one, like, she interrupted her entrance. So you knew that there was going to be some bullshit going on, and that's pretty much how this thing broke down at the end. But, I mean, it was a match where I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get intrigued. I see where the storylines are going, but it's the beginning. Nobody pops when they read the first chapter of a book. It's like, oh, okay, you got to read the next couple chapters to really get into it. So that's how I think this is.
There's Danny Luna for you, Jean-Paul.
Yep, and then that's what I thought this was. It was just slow and it was boring, and I would have rather started the show with something exciting and then have this, and then you could be riding that wave of excitement into this match, because this wasn't really something that got me excited, at the start of the show.
Yeah, especially because towards the end of this, the one Nina Samuels abandons Amel, and that's what it was. That's what opened the finish for the match, and then Zaya Brookside and Danny Luna did kind of like the Brooksy power bomb, and then like kind of like a really nice pin though. A really nice like pin attempt, and that's how they win the match. But I think the one reason that they're trying to do this is because you and me, we're just saying it right now. We don't know this woman. Nobody knows, and like for everybody, I think there's probably unheard of. And the only one that we know aside of these girls is like Valkyrie. And why? Because it's just like she's gonna be the chosen one to get the title from Kaylee Day. We saw that. We will talk about it a little bit later in the show. But I mean, Zaya Brookside, like you said, reminds me a little bit of like Kylie Ray, but like Impact, and it reminds me of Bailey a little bit. But I don't know if I'm convinced completely on her yet. But for now, I think she's going to be a mid card for the girls, which is not bad, But that's what we got the start of the show. This was interesting though. We mentioned this, like last week. We said in WWE fashion, they were actually going to make this a tag match, and what did they do? They made this a tag match, and pretty much Dragunov comes to like Sikala. Sikala is the assistant of the GM because the GM, like any other job, the GM is never there. That's what happens. The GMs are just like at home and just they don't work. So he's like, hey, I want to fight Wolf and Volta, not Walter, Volta, and I just want to fight both of them. So I need a match. And he said, well, who's gonna help you out with that? And he's like, we have a guy right there standing, and he points out at Pete Dunne. He's like, are you willing to it? So yeah, sure. In Pete Dunne's fashion. So, and like we said, Jean Paul, they're going to have a tag match. So, your thoughts on this segment?
Yeah, we predicted it, but it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. And this will be good though. It'll be a good thing to like build up the feud. I think we saw the best thing to build up this feud later on in the night, besides the actual match itself. But this is a way to introduce now Pete Dunne, back into a wrestling capacity into NXT UK where he belongs, and I'd like to see. Hopefully they can build up their roster, maybe introduce another title or something, and, really, have a division, because I think you have him back, you bring back Tyler Bate, guys like that, it'll be really good.
Oh, yeah. No, we'll see, because we got a video package from Gales, Jean-Paul, and they showed Joe Coffey there. He was there. So they didn't completely took him out, so that kind of makes me think that, like, he's not completely out. Maybe, like, hey, let, this whole rest of the year go by so people forget about it, and then maybe you can come back. So, well, maybe Tyler Bate might be the same thing. I don't know, depending on how severe the accusations were.
Yeah.
Then we will see what's the situation on that. But let's talk about this, Jean-Paul, because I know you love Bruiser Brody. I love him too. And, like, let's talk about this guy. Saxon Huxley. He had a match. Like, this guy is, like, the intensity I love. I don't know about you, but, like, when he goes, here he goes.
That's the thing with NXT UK. I said this is the only wrestling show. One, it's an hour, so that really gives it a bunch of pluses in my book. And two, all the competitors, they make it feel like this is like wrestling is a legit sport. They're really beating the hell out of each other, and it's a shoot. Like, it's all real. all these guys make it feel real, and they live the gimmick because it's not a gimmick. It's who they are, at least when the camera is on. So yeah, I appreciate that from all these guys. So yeah, I like this guy. He's in his character. It's not like a guy who comes out there and is like, oh, you can clearly tell he's playing a role. No, this guy, you believe that this is who he really is.
Oh yeah, and he was in a match with Jack Stars. This one was, like this. Jack Stars is like me, and Saxon Cosley is you. So there's like a really like high difference, and you know that you're gonna get the upper hand and the advantage by it. And I like the match though. Like Jack Stars had pretty little offense, and Huxley dominated the whole thing.
Yeah, it was like a really. I would say it was like a really elongated squash match. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it wasn't like Baron Corbin's 11 seconds and done in NXT. No. It went a couple minutes, and because they said that Jack Stars was like a new signee, like this is like his first match. Like, so you're not going to be like, oh, here's our new guy, and then done. Yeah, that's like, oh, we're going to kind of show him off, but clearly they're building this guy up. He had a really good performance against Walter. They're pushing him. See, I would love to see you build him up, and then Pete Dunne's kind of doing his thing in tag, helping people out here and there, and then you have these guys cross paths.
See, I think that would be cool. Good. Yeah, why? Because the gimmicks are similar. They're both like relentless. They don't care for anybody, and they have pretty intense in the ring. They're violent. They want to like beat up people. They want to hurt people, and I like this. And like you said, I think Starks like just to have a showing was okay because like I said, he had like 2 or 3 drop kicks, and that was it. Never like a really
because they said he's more technical, and he went for he like an arm wringer. He went to like twist it in like a wrist lock, but then he just like overpowered him because he's like, no, come on, like look at us. Like you think you're gonna overpower me? He's like, no. So
it's like, dude, it's like, come on. It's like, no. Yeah, it's like, let's be legit. No, it's not happening. You're right. So I mean, I like this Saxon Huxley. Like he's maybe whatever like happens with like Dragunov and Walter. Then we will see, this guy feuding against one or the other. And I will be fine with it because I'm really convinced that he's a good talent. Remember, finisher he kind of was trying to do for the power slam, but he switched it up in midair, and he kind of did like a back body drop, kind of like that. That's how was the finisher, and 1, 2, 3, he gets the win. Absolutely aggressive for me and good. So now Jean Paul, it's time for Heritage Cup. Let's talk about like our boy, A-Kid, going against Flash Morgan Webster. This match was good for me. I liked it. I want to say, though, the first round was more technical than anything. They were just, getting each other, feeling, a lot of, holes, just arm bars, kind of, feeling the flow of everything. And after the second round is when we really picked up. What do you think?
Yeah, when the match first started, it wasn't really aggressive. These guys didn't have any heat with each other. They're both, they said Flash Morgan Webster was with Adrian Street, I think they said, and he was training with him, and it's like, hey, let me learn some technical wrestling because I know A-Kid's really technical. Well, A-Kid can really do it all, but he's like, a technical wrestler, so let me try to combat that. And that was what the first match, our first round really was. Nobody really got the advantage. And then Flash Morgan Webster, he was kind of upping A-Kid, and it's like, he was taking the advantage, and then the match ends, and he has the momentum, and he actually gets the first pinfall. They do a bunch of roll-up attempts, pinfall attempts, and he scores it. Yes. So that's when, as soon as he scored that, and then it's like, okay, I don't want to say wrestling's predictable, but we do watch a bunch, and I'm like, A-Kid is the guy who they're pushing here, and I'm like, they're going to have this thing, it's going to be, it's close, and then Flash Morgan Webster has the momentum, A-Kid ties it, and then he gets the last win, and that's kind of the way it was, but they told it in a good story, and, it was so good, and I'm a fan of A-Kid. I will say, I like him, and I think when he develops the gimmick and he really gets, over with the crowd, because it almost reminds you like the Daniel Bryan baby face, look at him, is he small, is he bullshit, he shouldn't be here, he shouldn't make it, but he is anyway.
No, yeah, I agree with. I think that also this, like I said, Flash Morgan Webster in this match, I would say particularly. I don't know about you. I want to hear your thoughts on this. He didn't look as great. And A-Kid, I like I said, after the second round, like you said, he gets Flash Morgan Webster gets 1-0, and then the comeback from A-Kid was really good. And the beautiful thing, for me, he does the Spanish fly because he's actually Spanian. So yeah, that was really cool. I like when finally I can see a guy from Spain doing the Spanish fly. I was popping for that. I didn't care about the rest of the matches. Finally, a guy from the country that supposedly whoever created the move, then they do the Spanish fly, and then a beautiful super kick. You know, like, and that's the one thing that I just see on NXT UK is like when the intensity, you hear the sound of those hits. You know, you got boom. I don't know if they have like more microphones underneath. I don't know what it is, but that was a beautiful super kick. He tied like the match, and then they kept going at it. Webster, like I think it was his right arm. He got injured in towards the first, like the end of the first round. But then like a kid like dominated more. Flashmore Webster have a few attempts. Like he does like a running knee. I think it was Jean Paul. He did Frankensteiner. So that was really good. But in the end, you know. Like you said, a kid was the one that like needed to be pushed, and he got the win with a submission hold, Jean Paul. I don't know if you like that. I didn't like that too much because to me it looked like the Gargano escape.
Yeah, I just don't like the submission because it's not like an exhibition match where it's like, oh, okay, our opening contest, which is really just nothing. It's two mid-card guys fighting to kind of, build their stock, in the title picture or whatever. No, this was a match for the Heritage Cup. Like, you lose, you're done. You know what I mean? This is to represent British wrestling. This is like, oh, this is what I, always dreamed of being in. To submit, it's, you should almost have the mindset where it's like, I'd rather break my arm than submit. You know what I mean? Or I'd rather be like, have a bone broken or like pass out or, whatever. Yes. Like, so I don't like the tapping, like, oh, okay, but I mean, I'd rather just see pinned 1, 2, 3, or even like a roll up because it's at least it's the shoulders on the mat. But
and the one like I say, like he tried for the Gargano escape at some point. Didn't you see that? Like he was trying to lift the arm, and then it turned out to be more like an arm bar, and then he kept applying the pressure, and then towards the end, because there were like 4 seconds left for the end of the round, then Webster's like and he never tapped. He actually screamed that he's like it's done.
Yeah.
So like that I didn't like.
And that's what I mean because it was so close. It's like it really it's just I don't know. But I mean, hey, the right guy won though.
For example, in that fashion of Sasha Banks, remember 2 seconds left, and then he submits to like the figure 8 and all of that. So it's been done before. Then actually, Flash Morgan Webster was attacked by somebody because Mark Andrews was coming a promo, and then like so the guys from the Hunt. They were like, oh, come here, it's done. And then Flash Morgan Webster was even more done than what we saw that. So we'll see a possible storyline right there. Also, like the way that they handle the interviews are a little different because, for example, like you said in NXT, we see Mackenzie, we saw Sarah Shriver when Mackenzie's not allowed, but like we just see somebody, hey, you come here.
Yeah, you just hear a voice, and the girl who does the interviews here, she sounds so nice, but her accent is very thick. Yeah, sometimes you can't even understand what she's saying. When she asked him a question, it's like, what? But then, but she asked Pretty Deadly. They came in and, she was talking to them. And see, I could see them being the ones who attacked Flash Morgan Webster. I could definitely see it being
the guys from the Hunt. It has to be the guys from the Hunt. So I really.
Oh, no. I'm saying Pretty Deadly.
Oh, Pretty Deadly.
Remember? Because they had the interview. They came in and they're like, oh, we're going after Gallows. Like, they're bullshit. We want those tag belts. But, I mean, it could be them because I think the Hunt is babyface. Unless I know they're babyface now, unless they're going to do a change.
You're right. Because even like she asked, like, what is this other guy told you? It's like, it's none of them. It's none of them. It's like, what? None of your business, you. Yeah. So like it might be that. It might be that. So like we see that at least they're pushing the tag team division. And
the tag team division for them is like really good. When they said that it's the undiscovered gem or hidden gem. Yeah.
The kingdom of like the galas, like they said, because they have that video package with Wolfgang and the other coffee. Good stuff. I mean, talking about video packages, right, Jean Paul? We're gonna talk about the main video package because that was like a really, really well produced, and like you said, it gives you that big fight feeling, like Rocky 3, like Rocky 2, like whole build up with like Apollo and everything. It's like this. In 3 weeks' time, Jean Paul, we're gonna have Volta defending the NXT UK Championship against Ilya Dragunov. Really good stuff. I'll let you do the talking for this because you just love this, and I'm just like completely beside myself. Great.
Oh, yeah. They had the whole video package, showing everything from when he won the Battle Royal, and they interview him. How do you feel? And then he's pretty much like, I've given myself an opportunity. And then they talk to Walter. Walter says how I respect Ilya. We come from the same system. I trained him, made him who he is today. But the difference between me and him is, when he comes to the ring, he's filled with emotion and passion, but like, this is what I do. Like, this is my business. It's what I do. It's what I was made to do. He's the ring general. And then it's like fantastic promo, go on YouTube, watch it. But just the emotion, like I said, they build it up like a a Rocky movie, almost, like a movie
fight,
yeah, like a movie trailer. Yeah. And then and the one thing I just want to point out to notice, I was going to look at other like title things like with Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, whoever, but this video has like over 1,000 upvotes and it only has 8 dislikes. And I feel like that is a very small number for something WWE. Usually people are like, oh, dislike. Only 8 dislikes. It's because how can you hate this feud?
Exactly.
It's so legit. And it's put together so good.
Like Volta has like a lot of respect. Everybody just sees him as like when he goes like the mat is sacred, and he has that much credibility. For example, how would you feel like when you see like Drew McIntyre against Volta? This main like powerhouse is going at each other is going to be fantastic. And Dragunov, like you said, you were really impressed. Remember when the match with Cesaro? You said this kid has an amazing future. There you go. Balor, he didn't let us down. Now is the opportunity. Even in the Battle Royal, the action with Tyler Bate was really, really good. So you see that like this guy at some point, maybe next year, they get moved to NXT America. He will be a big star. Imagine him against Adam Cole. Right there.
Yeah, and if I'm going to make a prediction,
Dragunov.
If I'm going to make a prediction, because I mean, just, like I said, go watch his video package. The whole thing was good. The emotion from Dragunov in the end, where he's like, he's like, pretty much, you can't destroy me. Like, you kicked he's like, I'm scared of you. You're my nightmare. But like, I faced you so many times and I've gotten better each time. Like, I know everything now. Like, you can't beat me. And it's like really good and, amazing promo. I think he's going to win. If I'm going to be honest with you, I think he's going to win. And I don't know if it'll be very long, but I'd kind of keep Finn Balor not doing too much until 3 weeks, let that jaw heal, and then maybe we see Walter on, Wednesday nights to have a little program with Finn Balor, because Finn Balor did call him out. And it's like, what's next for Finn Balor? We don't really know. Hey, do a little program with Walter. Then Walter can come back here, because he needs to be in NXT UK, but I would like to see that, and I do think Dragunov deserves to be champ.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's what is going to happen. So, Jean-Paul, let's go to the end of the show, and that's like Kaylee Day. Pretty much the state of the nation. She was talking about like all the girls and who's going to be the next one to challenge her for the NXT Women's Championship. And just all the girls came out. This was, like I said, a little poor on execution, a little poor in like delivery, just because like all the girls came out, but like we saw Amel and we saw like Nina just fighting with each other, and the way that they were talking, it was that loud that like whether Kaylee Ray, everything that she was saying, they didn't make too much sense. So, like, nobody was paying attention. All the girls came out. See, like, and then they started fighting each other. They started fighting Kaylee Ray. Piper Niven came out. Like, I didn't like this segment at all, Jean-Paul. I don't think like that hype anything when it comes to the women and the state of, like, who can be the number one contender.
Yeah, no, and then just the way it all ended, because they all fought to the outside, and they're all beating each other up because they all want, to be champion. They all want to prove themselves. They all hate Kaylee Ray, and, just emotions are flaring. And then we see they're all kind of huddled together, and then Valkyrie dives off and just takes everybody out, and the typical WWE big dive spot. And then you just, have Kaylee Ray just laughing at everybody like, you guys are a bunch of idiots, and, that's pretty much it. And it's like, yeah, I feel the same way, Kaylee, because, she's a legit champ, but what I said earlier, you take no offense to any of the women who are there, because I think they're all getting built up, and eventually they'll be as good, hopefully, but you took Toni Storm, Rhea Ripley, all these legit women out of there. So it's like, okay, Piper was the next one, but we saw that feud. That's over. So now I see this as Kaylee Ray and like a bunch of jobbers. Yeah. And they're all the jobbers are just beating each other up, but it's like nobody cares.
Well, Jeannie attacked a little bit of an attack of Kaylee Ray. So like
she came out. Because that's right. She came out.
They will be the ones that like appointed for now, because Piper Niven, she had the chance. They didn't strike the iron right there. I don't think it's going to happen. So I think Jeannie and Valkyrie. But Jeannie is a heel, so
yeah. See, I would do the way that they booked it when Jeannie came out and like punched her, because I forgot about that. So thank you for maybe I was so zoned out of it. I like that escaped my memory. But yeah, when she came out, punched her, that was good, because Kaylee's like, yeah, like look at these idiots down there, and then boom. But that would be the next feud I would do. Build up Valkyrie a little more, get her more established, because there's a bunch of new viewers like us, consistently, and a bunch of other new people. So build Valkyrie up a little more. I have Kaylee Ray go through Ginny, and then that would be the next feud. I know it's heel versus heel, but to me, you can do that feud better than babyface versus babyface.
Oh yeah, I think that's what it's gonna be. So Jean-Paul, this was a review of the NXT UK episode. Pretty, to the point, simple. That's what we love to do. So remind everybody where they can find us in the social media world.
Well, you can find us on Rope Break on Facebook, the original Rope Break on Instagram, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, and of course, right here on YouTube for the #1 podcast, the best podcast that covers it all, right here, the original Rope Break. And of course, you can follow us on our new home, alleverythingentertainment.com.
Right there, check us out for every single one of the videos, the podcast version, also SoundCloud for the ones that just go drive around, just listen to something.
For the one that want to listen to Juan's new rap career, go to SoundCloud and check him out there.
Yeah, right there. So thank you so very much, family. We'll see you guys soon. We have a lot of content for you, so take care. We'll be back with you soon. So Jean-Paul, myself, we have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...